Welcome back to Bash Bros in episode 87 of Notorious Pro Wrestling, the TEW Let's Play series where we find out what exactly would happen if Conor McGregor started his own wrestling promotion. Special episode today, year in recap episode. This is our first Notorious episode of the in-game 2023 year. So that means, just like we did last year, we will look at our short list of best male wrestlers, best female wrestlers, best tag team, match of the year, show of the year, and we will induct someone into the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to do any news or anything like that either. The main reason for that is because I also want to do Rev Pro, do awards for Rev Pro. Although we've only really had them for about 4 months, I think. Still worth going down there, see who our best male wrestler is, who our best female wrestler is, best tag team, and match of the year. No point in doing a show of the year because that's just a weekly show. There's no kind of there's no pay-per-views or anything like that, and they don't have a Hall of Fame, so we won't be inducting anyone into the Rev Pro Hall of Fame. But absolutely, I do think it's worth looking at least the competitor side. So I'm not going to do news, I'm not going to do a recap. This will be a long enough episode without all that. So next week when you're back, we will do all the usual stuff, but this is purely a year in recap episode. So as always, I will kind of go over my top 3 candidates, going from third to the winner of the award, okay? So number 3 in terms of men's workers down in Rev Pro, because we want to work we'll do Rev Pro first before we go to Notorious, okay? So Nathan Cruz, our current Rev Pro champion, only been with Rev Pro since our relaunch of it, and he's been good. 57, kind of main event for Rev Pro would be 50s, 60s type of performance, so absolutely a main eventer. Definitely considered a main eventer, though more for his balance between in-ring and on the mic. He's definitely not the best in-ring performer we have, but on the mic he is probably one of the top guys we have. His 2 most recent bouts have really been his best, which are 63 and 62, so he is probably getting a bit better, but it'll be really interesting to see what he can do going forward. But definitely number 3 male competitor of the year. Number 2 then, the second silver medal for wrestler of the year, Ricky Knight Jr. Man, he's really good. He's really good. His stats are a little skewed as he was wrestling for Rev Pro before we took him over in September. But even so, you know, high 50s. There's one low bout there, which was a squash match, but high 50s. His match with Tajiri kind of stank, but that was definitely more on Tajiri's side than Ricky Knight Jr.'s. He's a very, very good wrestler, and only 22, so he's only going to get better. Average rating so far is 59. But yeah, I think he is absolutely the right choice to get called up to the main roster. I think he'll probably be a mid-card guy, but he will probably end up being a main eventer as he continues to grow into a better in-ring competitor. Which is funny because he's not even bad at the minute, but he will continue to grow into an unreal in-ring competitor. And my choice for Rev Pro Wrestler of the Year is probably Carlos Romo. A bit of a dark horse maybe for this, but considering he was he was already with Rev Pro when we acquired it, and yeah, he's just been really good. Like, his average rating is 66, which is leaps and bounds above Ricky, which was on a 59. Now there is a couple of 80s in there back before we acquired it, mostly with back when Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. were there. But I mean, even when we took over, you know, 63, high 50, 62, 62, 67. So even taking away these, again, these pre-Notorious days, high work rate wrestler, and again, quite young, 27, hasn't even hit 30s, which would kind of be a lot of people's maturity phase. So yeah, he's good now, and he's going to be absolutely fantastic as he continues to wrestle. So moving on to the women's division and the female wrestler of the year, and this one is actually maybe quite surprising. This one is surprising because all 3 of the competitors all have the same average rating. So I was literally usually that's kind of a good guideline for me to decide the order in which they kind of will be in the rankings. So this one I was kind of just winging it. So number 3, Charlie Evans. This was a toss-up between her and Jamie Hayter, but I feel like because we used her in predominantly hardcore matches and wild brawls, that helped lean into her attributes here and made her get a lot, probably actually overperform a bit. So as you can see, since we've taken over here in September, before that, apparently I just like to spam Medusa Complex versus Sanitarium. So there you go. So we took over then in November, and we had so all in all, usually she's kind of scoring low to mid 50s, one high 50 there. So yeah, like she's just a great worker, very good in hardcore matches, and wild brawls. So we do let her lean into that a bit. So again, another young worker, only 25, nowhere near her maturity stage at 30. So she will be a hell of a worker going forward. Number 2, then I actually went with B Priestley. Now the reason I went with B, like I said, I probably could have flipped a coin. It was the toss-up between the 3, and I could have easily flipped the coin for 1 and 2. I went with B just because she was kind of the champion whenever we came in. It wasn't really our choice, and not only that, the age difference between her and number 1, which I'm sure you can guess who it is staggering. So as you can see then, since we've kind of come in here, again, low to high 50s every single match has been in. Even in the squash matches, is still dragging those people to 52 rated matches, which is good for that level in Rev Pro. So all in all, yeah, just a great worker is B Priestley, and she is on her way up to the main roster currently, and yeah, she will be a fantastic asset. And then our Women's Wrestler of the Year is Millie McKenzie, our current Rev Pro Women's Champion. 22. She is 22 and this good already. Couple of flaws in her game, just in terms of her mic skills and entertainment skills, but for 22, her basics, her fundamental skills, are just unreal. Absolutely unreal. Average rating of 53, highest match 58. So in third place for Tag Team of the Year down in Rev Pro, it is the Young Guns of Northwest Strong, Ethan Allen and Luke Jacobs. Definitely kind of more of a mid-card tag team for myself, but they can hold their own when against a bigger team. If you look here, kind of 48, 49, 37, 48 is kind of their mid-card matches, but when against bigger teams, better teams, they can hold their own. Most recently against Aussie Open, and it going 57. So again, great team, still very young team. Neither member is in their 30s yet. So again, will be really cool to see what happens when they hit the maturity stage. Second place then, silver medals for More Than Hype, Darren Kearney and Nathan Martin. These guys were the tag champs whenever we came in. And you know what? These guys can go. I was actually really surprised how good they were whenever we started using them. I believe Darren is the better of the two, getting up to 60 in some of his match performances. But yeah, as you can see here, we took over in September, so a bit of a mid-card match to begin with, but it was a squash for 44, 34, 65, More Than Hype Aussie Open, awesome match. Again, the rematch then 66, again, awesome. Yeah, these More Than Hype, especially with LJ Cleary as well, are a awesome tag team. And then absolutely no surprise to anyone at all, Aussie Open are the tag team of the year for Rev Pro. I mean, who else was it going to be? Current Rev Pro tag champs. They consistently score over 60 in their matches. Even before we took over, they were getting 80s and 70s, but that was again with Zack Sabre Jr. and Will Ospreay in the match. But look at them, not a bad match at all, and not a bad match since we've taken over. 59, 65, 65, 66, 60, 61. Yeah, just beyond awesome workers. I foresee them having the Rev Pro tag titles for a long time. And finally, match of the year then for Rev Pro, since we've taken over, is going to be difficult to find due to the fact that Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. were having belters before they were released or went back to New Japan. So, match of the year for us was LJ Cleary versus Kyle Fletcher. Is that right? I kind of do believe that. That's two great workers. Joint match of the year. LJ Cleary versus Kyle Fletcher, or More Than Hype versus Aussie Open. I would be more entitled to give it the More Than Hype versus Aussie Open, just for the fact that there's more parts in play there for things to go wrong, so it's more impressive. So yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Two great tag teams just doing great tag team things. I know our tag team division is a bit light on talent, but the talent that we do have is next level. Okay, so that is the developmental territory looked at. Let's take a look at the main roster now, the Notorious Pro Wrestling Awards, end of year awards. Okay, so Wrestler of the Year for Notorious Pro Wrestling. Third place going to Jonathan Gresham. Dude is a technical wizard. He's been with us for a year now, and yeah, he just does good matches. Lowest rated match was a 49, which was, well, actually, yeah, that was his most recent match where he was working injured, so that explains that. But his highest rated match was 75, and that was against Conor McGregor. So a bit of a cheat code there, but next one after that would actually be Jay Lethal versus Jonathan Gresham at Wind Your Neck In. Average rating of 63, 14 wins and 8 losses. He should be in the P12 for this year, but that injury is just, I don't want to take that risk of it getting worse. But I can guarantee you, since our Intercontinental title is a workhorse title, he will absolutely be an Intercontinental champion soon. Second place then goes to Ray Phoenix, quite new to the Notorious Pro Wrestling roster, but you can't argue with the results. He is damn good. Again, he's only been with us since September, so about 4 months, but every match, like bar 2 matches, he's been unbelievable. Average rating of 72 is crazy, absolutely crazy, and his lowest rating is 64. Like, when your lowest rated match is a 64, it's just, yeah, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, Ray's great. Again, will probably be an IC title holder. Don't see him holding the world title. He just doesn't have the microphone capability for that yet. But who knows, with a good manager behind him, he could possibly be a future Notorious Pro Wrestling champion. Speaking of the Notorious Pro Wrestling Championship, Pac is our Wrestler of the Year, the current holder of the belt. He's good, guys. He's really damn good. I mean, again, been with us since September, and just match after match after match is next level. Just next level. 2 blips on the radar, one versus Pentagon. I do believe it's because they had poor chemistry. And one against Grado. But yeah, then he went ahead and had a 72 with Grado later on. So yeah, guys, it's just unbelievable. Average rating 73, highest to 78, and lowest is a 67. His lowest is still main event caliber for us. It blows some of our other talent out of the water. His worst match. So yeah, Pac, our male wrestler of the year. So moving on to women's wrestler of the year. This actually is this will surprise you. So I suppose honorable mention, and this is a bit will surprise you, is the Maki Ito. He didn't make the top 3. Maki Ito is a good in-ring wrestler, but it's definitely her charisma that makes her an asset more so than in-ring currently. Now, saying that, she's 27, she's just about to probably hit her maturity phase, so you might see that increase. You might see her in-ring attributes increase, but yes, currently not in the top 3 in-ring workers. Number 3, the bronze medal goes to Crazy Mary Dobson, the wild one. Joining with Jake the Snake Roberts has done her a world of good. The heel turn has been decent. Even if it is temporary. Her hardcore and brawling are probably what has made her so good, as we have put her into a lot of hardcore and brawling matches, or wild brawl matches. But yeah, I say she's had a wide variety of matches. Her best is 68, which was against Meiko Satomura. And her worst was 48 against Kanji, which was a pre-show match. Average rating of 55, just beat out Maki Ito by about 1 point on her average rating. But yeah, like, I think it's just definitely seems to be kind of these last couple of matches up here have really helped boost her, and this one too, just due to the hardcore or wild brawl stipulations. Like, she is capable of getting 60s with the right opponent, as you can see here. So Maiko, Tessa again, and against Dynasty. Speaking of Tessa, she is our second place for Women's Wrestler of the Year. You don't have to like her, but you have to admit she is a good worker. 57, her average rating, highest 62, and that was with Maki Ito for the title back at Banjax when Maki won. And then also her lowest then 44, which was a pre-show match against Angel Hayes at the very start of the year. Average rating 57 is great, but again, she is one of those wrestlers that can pull out a 60 when need be. So she did it with Rhea O'Reilly, she did it with Dynasty, she did it with Crazy Mary Dobson, she did it with Crazy Mary Dobson again, she did it with Maki Ito, she did it with Riho, and she did it with Maki Ito one more time. Yeah, Tessa is a great wrestler. Personally, yeah, questionable, but goddamn, she is a good wrestler. And then, again, bit of a dark horse for this. Meiko Satomura is absolutely our Women's Wrestler of the Year. In terms of performance, no one can touch her. Absolutely no one. We don't really use Meiko all that much because of her schedule conflicts, as she is the owner of Sendai Girls. But when we do, holy crap, she's good. Highest rated match was most recently against Crazy Mary Dobson with a 68. That is our best women's match to date. I am almost certain of it. And then lowest was a 49, again, pretty much a squash tag match at the start, or in March. Like, average rating of 59 is unreal. She is a good wrestler and can pull good matches out of people. She got a 60 out of Alpha Female. She got a 62 with Kaylee Ray, 61 with Riho, 62 with Maki. Yeah, just really good wrestler is Meiko Satomura. The tag team of the year then. Dynasty, the soon to be defunct Dynasty, in at number 3 for tag team of the year. Dropped the titles to Aussie Open, but they were great and still are very good. So their average rating is 57. Their average rating is 57 with their highest being 66, and that was against their best rated match was a 66 against Aussie Open, where they failed to reclaim the titles at our most recent pay-per-view Frostbite. Lowest match then was a 47. That was against the NIC at the start of the year. But NIC, I think that's before they turned heel and joined Eddie Dennis, because since they joined Eddie Dennis, they've kind of been a lot better. As you can see, there's a rematch later on in the year, and it was a 59. Yeah, Dynasty were a great faction and a great tag team. I think it kind of shows what Curtis Axel can do when given the right motivation. WWE. Don't get me wrong, I don't think Curtis Axel should ever be near a world title picture, but when you book him correctly, he is a solid hand to have. Now here's a bit of an upset. Aussie Open number 2 are current NPW Tag Team title holders. Average rating of 58, highest rating 66. Again, that was defending the titles against Dynasty. Lowest then a 49, and that was an 8-man with Kings of the North, Dynasty and Grizzled Young Vets. I thought that match would have slapped. That seems weird. But all in all, like, they're great. And then our tag team of the year is the Lucha Bros. Only had a handful of matches. Average rating 71, but take in mind there are a couple of single matches between Pentagon and Ray in there. But I mean, their best rated match was a tag match, and that was Sonico and Pac against the Lucha Bros. And then their lowest rated match was a squash match against Le Ortiz. I mean, the Lucha Bros are good, guys. Like, holy crap. They are going to be future tag team champions. Actually, maybe not that soon, but they are absolutely going to be, down the line, future tag team champs. So, our match of the year was against... Our match of the year for 2022 was Pac versus Conor McGregor at the Fuck What They Think pay-per-view for a 78. That is a hell of a match. I know it's a bit of a cheat code having Conor there, but even dropping down to the next one, Pac versus Phoenix, and it's a 77. So, yeah, not a tall surprise by any of this. But no, 78 is awesome. I think once we go up to medium, Conor will become a bit more of an active competitor. I think. I didn't want to use him too much at the beginning because it is a bit of a cheat code having Conor there. And yeah, I could probably just throw him every week, get at least a 70 rated match, and, you know, to the moon with our ratings. But I decided against that very early on. But once we get the medium, I feel like it's fair that we're at a stage now where Conor could possibly be wrestling regularly. And then our match of the year, or our card of the year, was a random wanted in October. So what was this? It had Conor McGregor versus Jonathan Gresham. Okay, fair. So this card then, we'll take a wee look at it. Yeah, we spammed a lot of Conor McGregor. So we had 2 Conor McGregor promos. We had a Conor McGregor match. And yeah, that was our match. That was our card of the year. It was a 77. See, that's a good case of what I was saying before. That's why I don't use Conor. You could sit there and use him all you want, and you get like a 77 rated show. So that's why I actually don't use Conor as a regular active competitor. I save him for special occasions. Our Hall of Fame inductee. So last year we inducted Doug Williams into the Hall of Fame. So I him and had about this because it was originally going to be possibly Penta for his year-long title run. But then I kind of thought, should I kind of limit it more to people who have actually retired, or even kayfabe retired from in-ring competition? Because when we inducted Doug, he was only kayfabe retired. He was still active in-game. So I decided to go with that. It's not a hard rule, because there'll be some years where we won't have anyone who's retired who we can induct. But yeah, so for this year I decided to go with a retired inductee. And the only retired inductee which made sense was Alpha Female. Now the reason I went with Alpha Female, I know she didn't do a lot for us, but she was there from day one in Notorious. And we did use her. It's not like she wasn't used. She was used semi-regularly. So yeah, as a day one kind of Notorious wrestler, I do feel like it's worth bringing her into the Hall of Fame for this year. And she did retire this year in game. So there we go. Alpha Female is this year, maybe a bit underwhelming, I know, but is this year's Notorious Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame inductee. Right guys, that is it then for this week's wanted, it's not even a wanted, for this year's recap. I know it's been a year in game, but just a massive thank you for sticking with me all in game year. We've seen a lot of growth, seen a lot of changes to the Notorious Universe, lots of new companies, some pre-existing companies closing down, the acquisition of Rev Pro and the start of the Six Nations faction, WWE going on a hiring spree and bringing in a bunch of AEW and indie darlings. Yeah, a lot's happened this year in game, so it's been an absolute joy to play through, and an absolute joy to bring you along on this journey. Hopefully 2023 is the year we go up to medium size, and we'll start doing exclusive contracts. And finally starting to really push up to the top kind of 10 companies of the world. Hopefully. The next time you guys will be back, I believe, is going to be the We Rise pay-per-view. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like and subscribe to the Bash Bros channel for more Notorious and many other great shows. If you have any ideas for tag teams, factions, stables, or if you have any thoughts or opinions, because I know the internet wrestling community, you all have opinions on my choices for wrestlers of the year, tag team of the year, etc., etc. Leave them in the comments below, and I'll respond to them if you're polite. With all that being said, I will see you next time on Bash Bros.